All right, welcome back, everyone. Ready for another deep dive?
Always.
Today, we're tackling a story most people think they know, Noah's Ark. But we're going deeper than just the animals marching two by two. We're looking at what this ancient text says about things like um, patience, resilience, maybe even some environmentalism.
Yeah, we're in Genesis chapter 8 now. The floodwaters are finally receding after a long 150 days.
150 days. Whoa. I get stir crazy after like just a weekend camping trip.
Yeah.
What do you think kept Noah and his family going through all those months?
Well, faith definitely plays a part, but you also got to think about the practicalities too. I mean, they had all those animals to care for, supplies to manage, keeping that whole ark afloat.
Right.
Just the day-to-day tasks alone would have taken a lot of focus and resilience.
Yeah, like a to-do list that never ends. But then we get this moment of hope, right? Noah sends out a raven, no luck, sends out a dove, and it comes back with an olive branch.
That olive branch, man, it's such a powerful symbol, isn't it?
Absolutely.
I think it's about more than just peace. Like, the olive tree, incredibly hardy, right? Can withstand drought, fire, and still flourish. It kind of speaks to that enduring power of life, that renewal, even after devastation.
Wow, I never thought about it like that. You're totally right, this tiny little symbol with this huge message of hope and resilience.
Exactly. And it's that resilience that carries Noah forward. Finally, the earth is dry and God says, okay, time to disembark. Can you imagine that first step back onto solid ground after all that time?
Oh, it must have felt amazing.
Like a whole new world.
But what's interesting is Noah's first act isn't celebrating, popping champagne. He builds an altar and offers sacrifices to God. That's pretty powerful, don't you think?
It really is. I mean, it says so much about his gratitude, his humility. He understood that their survival wasn't just dumb luck. It was something to be deeply thankful for.
Yeah, it makes you think about how we react when we overcome obstacles in our own lives.
For sure. And that gratitude leads to something incredible. God makes a covenant with Noah.
A covenant.
Yeah, promising to never flood the earth again in the rainbow. That becomes a symbol of that promise.
Right.
A sign of hope and renewal after the storm.
It's such a beautiful image, isn't it? That arc of color in the sky, just reminding us that even after the darkest times, there's always the possibility of light and beauty.
Absolutely. And it's not just about the visual beauty, right? I mean, the rainbow represents this return to order, to balance. God also establishes the cycle of seasons.
Okay.
Ensuring that there's this predictability of seed time and harvest,
Well,
The rhythm of life just keeps going.
it's like hitting the reset button on the whole world,
Yeah.
but not just starting over with this like newfound sense of stability and hope.
Exactly. And that's where the real power of this story lies, I think. It's not just some old tale, It's like a blueprint almost for how we can navigate challenges and embrace new beginnings in our own lives.
So how do we apply these ancient lessons to our modern world? I mean, we might not be facing literal floods, but we all have our own personal storms to weather. Right.
Totally. Think about Noah's patience, right? He waited 150 days for the waters to recede.
Yeah.
We might not be dealing with, actual flood waters, but we all go through those times of waiting, uncertainty, feeling stuck.
Oh, yeah, those moments where you're just like, come on, universe, let's get this show on the road.
Exactly. But what if we learned to kind of embrace those waiting periods?
Okay.
What if, like Noah, we found ways to cultivate patience, to trust that even when things are chaotic, there's this bigger plan unfolding?
Oh, that's a tough one, I think. It's so important, though, because we're so used to instant gratification these days,
Right.
We forget that sometimes the best things in life take time.
They really do. And think about the olive branch, right? It reminds us to look for those little signs of hope, those glimmers of light
Yeah.
that tell us we're moving in the right direction, even when things feel bleak.
It's like finding that one little, like, green shoot pushing up through the concrete.
Yeah.
Gives you that little burst of hope, and you realize life's pretty resilient.
Absolutely. And just as the world was kind of cleansed by the flood, we too can find renewal after challenges, right? It
Yeah.
could be recovering from a loss, starting a new job, even just breaking a bad habit. It's about embracing those new beginnings with that same courage and hope that Noah stepped off the ark with.
Like that feeling of stepping onto fresh, dry ground after a long, hard rain.
Yes.
You just feel lighter, cleaner, ready for whatever's next.
And let's not forget the importance of gratitude, right? Noah's first act after surviving was to give thanks.
Yeah.
In the rush of our modern lives, it's so easy to forget to appreciate the good things, both big and small.
We get so caught up in what we don't have that we totally lose sight of what we do have.
Right.
But taking the time to appreciate those things, even the simple things, can make such a huge difference in how we see the world.
Totally. It's a
Right.
practice, we could all benefit from.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
And finally, there's that element of faith. Noah's story reminds us that even when we're facing huge challenges, there's a power greater than ourselves we can turn to for strength and guidance. Whether we believe in, a literal God or not, I think we all have those things that give us faith and hope when times get tough. Could be our loved ones, our community, or connection to nature, even just that belief in our own inner strength.
It's about finding that anchor that keeps us grounded when the storms of life are raging around us.
And speaking of storms, we can't overlook the environmental message that's kind of like embedded in the Noah's Ark story.
Right.
It's this powerful reminder of how delicate the balance of nature is
Yeah.
and the potential consequences of, our actions.
It's a cautionary tale that has resonated through the ages, right?
Totally.
Challenges us to think about our role as stewards of this planet and ask ourselves, what can we do to live more sustainably? How can we protect this beautiful, fragile Earth for future generations?
It's like a responsibility we all share. Wow, it's amazing how this ancient story can spark so many insightful connections to our modern lives. We've talked about patience, resilience, gratitude, even environmentalism, all stemming from this one tale.
It really shows you the power of these timeless stories, right? They tap into something universal, something that transcends time and culture.
So as we wrap up our deep dive into Noah's Ark, I want to try a little thought experiment.
Oh, okay. I'm intrigued.
Okay, imagine you're Noah. You've just stepped off the Ark
Yeah.
into a world that's been washed clean. It's a world full of possibilities. What's the very first thing you do?
That's a powerful image. Let me think. I think for me, I just stand there for a minute, just take it all in, feel that solid ground under my feet, breathe in that fresh, clean air, just let the enormity of it all sink in.
I get that. After being cooped up for so long, just experiencing that freedom, that vastness, it would be incredible.
Totally. And then, I think I'd find a quiet spot and just express my gratitude. Gratitude for survival, for the second chance, for the opportunity to create something new and meaningful in this fresh start.
That's a beautiful thought. It really gets to the heart of the story, doesn't it? That sense of hope and renewal. What do you think our listeners would do in that moment?
It's an interesting question to think about. Would they, focus on rebuilding their lives, reconnecting with loved ones, maybe just celebrating their survival? Would they try to learn from the mistakes of the past, or would they be eager to embrace a whole new way of life?
That's a fascinating thought experiment, and it really gets to the core of what this story is all about. Resilience, new beginnings, the choices we make when faced with uncertainty. So, for everyone listening, we challenge you. Sit with this question. See where it takes you. What would your first act be as you step off the Ark into a brand new world?
And if you're feeling inspired, we'd love to hear your reflections. Share your thoughts with us on social media, use our show's hashtag. We're always excited to hear how these deep dives resonate with you.
Until next time, everyone, keep exploring, keep questioning, and keep diving deep.
We'll see you on our next adventure.